Retro Rob's gaming videos.
Hey, Rob here, and today I'm going to show you my coffee, actually. We're going to talk about my coffee. No, we're going to talk about the PICO-8. This is going to be basically an unboxing video with a couple of first impressions. If you're looking for something deeper, you'll have to wait about a month probably when I do my 1 month video. This is kind of act as the 1 week video as well, because this part I'm shooting actually after I did the unboxing, which is why in the next scene you're going to see that it's wrapped again. So don't get all freaked out. I don't have a time machine. I'm not going there. Anyway, PICO-8 is a portable gaming device. It is made by Next Thing Company, which I called Next Big Thing Company, unfortunately, in the other video. It is an inexpensive gaming device based on the $9 chip computer, which I'm going to list the specs in the next scene, and you're going to be pretty amazed, I think, at what the specs of the $9 computer. At the $60 price point, well, there's good and bad about it. I like the device, but you're going to find that there's good and bad about it. But I think for the price, you got to be pretty amazed by it. So, let's get on. Basically, what was happening before the next scene is I had discussed the chip, which I've already discussed with you. I had discussed the price point. And then I said, the PICO-8 is basically the chip computer, and it's literally living inside this frame, and it's snapped into this little body so it can make a little portable computing/gaming device. Now, you could flesh this out to a whole computer if you wanted to, or you could do this little mini guy like we're seeing here. So, a little bit about it. It's got a 1 gigahertz ARM v7 processor, 512 megs of RAM. It's got a Mali 400 GPU, meaning it's capable of doing at least some rudimentary 3D graphics, maybe more than rudimentary. I mean, by today's standards, rudimentary, but pretty impressive stuff. It also has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a 5-hour battery. So, pretty cool thing. So we'll take a look at the box itself. Oh, I am so sorry. I got that off the screen. There is the... Actually, I think that's the back of the box. No, that is the front of the box. Okay, the front of the box. Sides both look the same, but let's look at the back. Some basic instructions for operation. Wait, bring that over a little bit. Man, this is hard to do off to the side. Anyway, you plug it in to charge, power it on, and then make things. Now, this has another thing. Oh, the sides aren't the same. I must have looked at the same side twice. Here's the side. It actually has the specs written right on it. There we go. Nice. Quality video yet again for me. I like the box design, by the way. This reminds me of the kinds of little electronic projects that you used to get in the 80s. The box looks just a lot like those just little electronic projects, so I love the look of it. And since I do collect stuff like this, it's one of the few things that I actually collect and don't actually use for regular play, although who knows with this. I like to have a neat display box, so that actually does matter to me in this particular case because it probably will go on display somewhere or another. Yeah, not bad. So let's open it up. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, the operating system, it's a Debian. It's a Debian derivative. It might just be straight up plain vanilla Debian. Let's see what's in the box. I'll show you what this is for in a minute. All right. Get out of there. What the heck? Oh, you open from the top. Oh, look at it. The top says open. Fun. Wow. I think I am going to have fun with this. Kind of excited about this. I ordered this a couple months back, so it's nice to see this come to fruition. Very durable packaging. Looks actually like I'm supposed to open it right here. And There we go. It's really hard to hold it at this angle. Gotta tell you. Oh, it's got a little tongue. Come on. Alright, there we go. Oh wow, it's bigger than I thought it was. I was not expecting it to be this big. Holy huge, man. This thing's big. Oh, by the way, I paid about $60 for it. It's huge. Look at this thing. I gotta get something to compare it to. Hold on a second. So what we are looking at here is the Pocket chip next to a GPD-XD. For those of you who don't know what a GPD-XD is, this is an Android-based gaming device. If you want to know more about it, just basically look at any video I've done. Probably about half of the videos I've done in the last month or two have been GPD-XD related. So really nice device. But anyway, it's roughly the size and shape of a 3DS XL. So here's the Pocket chip, and here is something the size of a 3DS XL. It's pretty dang big. It's bigger than it looks in pictures. I'll say that for sure. So here we have the Pocket chip in all of its glory. Let's talk a little bit about it. It has that giant screen on there. That is a 480 pixel by 272 pixel LED backlit screen. It is a touch screen. It is a resistive touch screen, though. For those of you who don't know, the other technology which is used in pretty much everything else nowadays is, of course, the capacitive touch screen. That would include the GPD-XD here, and probably your cell phone and iPads and any other tablet. The capacitive touchscreen is a much more sensitive touchscreen than the resistive touchscreen. However, there are a few advantages to the resistive touchscreen, even though it's an older technology. Number one being, if you happen to be wearing gloves, you can actually use this thing, which you cannot do with a capacitive touchscreen. It is also pulling less energy, so therefore it is a little bit more fuel efficient than the capacitive screen, and I believe that's the reason why they used it here. Now, what that means is it's not as easy to do like sliding gestures. That said, it doesn't use it all that much in the interface. It uses it more like just touching buttons, so it's not too bad. I'm not hating on that particular thing. The other thing is that this is possibly one of the clearest resistive touchscreens I've ever seen. Most of them are really dull. That said, I haven't actually used a resistive touchscreen since probably, I don't know, Palm Pilot days. So yeah, it's kind of an old technology, but still low power draw, and that's probably why they used it here. Let's talk about the keyboard that's sitting right here. It is basically some bare contacts under a sheet of plastic. It actually works quite well and is quite responsive. I'm having a little bit of a tough time typing on it right now. That said, I think once I get used to it, it'll be okay. At least all the keys are in the right place. Up on the top is the numbers. And one more thing on the top up here is, of course, all these standoffs so that you can basically work on projects right from this. Everything's wired right into the board and stands off to here. By the way, somebody who's more of an expert in this, you can tell me whether every pin is pinned out. But I think all the input-output pins are. All right, one last thing to mention before I flip over to the other side and show you the rest of this. It's printed in pink, which I kind of wish it was printed in black. One of the reasons is I'm 40 plus years old, and I have a very hard time seeing this pink in low lighting conditions. So I don't generally wear reading glasses. I mean, I do sometimes when I'm working on like really tight wiring, but I have to wear reading glasses to use this in low light. So that is kind of a bummer. All right, on to the back side and all the ports and such. All right, here we have the back side of the Pocket chip. You can see this nice little LED light riding up in the back to show that it is on. The chip computer is right in here. You can actually remove this panel and remove the chip from the Pocket chip so you can use it for other applications. Here we have a 3000 milliamp battery. It can power up for about 5 hours under normal usage conditions. Haven't really tested that yet, but I hear it's pretty true. If you look at the top, you can see there is a micro USB port, which I wish was an HDMI. There is a USB port, and there is an audio out. Important thing about the audio out here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more and show you that. Important thing about the audio out is, if you look, there's no speakers on this. So the only audio out you get is through headphones or attached speakers. Now, that said, I'm going to have a link down in the description which shows you how to add your own speakers to this for under $10. I might do that as a video as well. I'm definitely going to do the hack because I want the sound for when I'm working with it. As far as body construction goes, it's okay. It's a little... It's not as tough as some frames that I felt. Definitely not as tough built as many modern gaming systems. That said, it's better built than an Atari joystick, which says quite a bit. It is made to be snapped apart, though. You can take this whole thing apart and hack it to your heart's delight. So that is really part of the reason why it might be slightly less stable. Also, as far as the controls go, I think I mentioned that this is not the best control to play games with. It's not terrible. It's passable. I've definitely used Chinese stuff that's like way worse. However, you might want to hook a joystick up to it. So, if you want to get at an angle so you can play with your joystick, God, that didn't sound good. You just prop it up with a pencil like that, or a pen in the other hole. Conversation not getting better, is it now? Oh, I noticed I was just eating my microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, so some other notes, and I'm going to put them up. I have not tested it with this USB here yet. You would think that it would just plug in and play. However, it is my understanding that that is absolutely not true. There are some modifications that need to be made. I will, of course, link to that forum. There are people working on it. I have gotten joysticks to work under adverse Linux conditions, so I might take a look at that too. I might have something that might help the forums. That said, those guys are really pretty good, so they probably have tried most of the tricks that I've tried. But I'll try them anyway and see if it works. If it works, I'll post it, because that's what you do in open source. Okay, so there's that option. Another guy, and I'll post this too, has hacked his Arduboy. And it's not really a hack because it's meant to be able to do these kinds of things, but he's using his Arduboy as a controller, and basically what the Arduboy is doing is acting as a keyboard, and he's programming the keys to match these. And the Arduboy does, indeed, as I've said in my review of the Arduboy, have a really nice little controller on it for these kinds of games. I might try that. I probably will try that and see how that works. Your other final choice, of course, is Bluetooth or a direct connection through something like the Nest 30 here. The Nest 30 can act as a keyboard as well, so I'm going to see how that goes. The 1 month video will have my results from all of these. I'm pretty sure these are almost certainly viable options because I can program these to act like the keyboard. This one, a little bit more questionable based on what I saw in the forums, but that said, it does look like it's just a configuration thing, and I've done that before. So, let's go take a look at the Pocket Chip menu. Zoom in. Okay, it's not the clearest, is it now? I wonder if I can turn the brightness down. Hold on a second. So here we have the main menu of the Pocket Chip. In the top left, you can see the terminals right there. It is a fully functional terminal, complete with the ability to get new apps using apt-get. It is Debian, obviously, since I said apt-get. And you can use things like Vi and Nano to edit your files. You, of course, will use Nano because you're not a crazy frickin' person, right? That was a little bit of a Linux joke there for you Linuxy folks. All right, let's go back. By the way, I hit this button right here to go back. You can hit this button from anywhere to go back. And if the unit locks up, I've never had that happen yet, but it's only been 24 hours for me, you can hold down that button and it will reset the device. Not reset, but it will power it off. You can make music here with this Make Music app. It does have a little bit of a tutorial when you first log into it. I have not played with it. I am not like a chiptunes person, but it looks very featureful, I guess. Some people don't hate me for that. I can't do everything, for crying out loud. I don't know everything. All right, there's a help file right here. I'm not going to bother going into it. It's very boring. Let's look at the middle here. This is a word processor. Very basic word processor. It can do searches at least. And if you press up in the corner, you probably would be better off with a stylus working with this because it's so small. But, hi, there's me. Anyway, but it's a very basic word processor. If you want to do serious word processing on this, which I don't know why you would, you'll probably want to download something else to do that. Again, here I go to the button and back. And of course, there is a nice file browser in here. That's actually a fairly decent little file browser. So I'm not going to do a whole lot in it, but it has bookmarking, which I like. Yeah, not too bad, really. And sorry about this, but I'm going to hit the back button. There we go. Okay, if you look on the bottom, to the bottom right, we have the control panel. It's very basic. Wi-Fi right there on the top. It is absolutely, positively important that you hook up your Wi-Fi first. It should be one of the first things you do when you get onto this because the PICO-8 really relies on Wi-Fi, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then, of course, there is the brightness knob right here. I've got it all the way down because it's bright enough to set off my camera a bit. And down at the bottom, of course, is volume, which is only good if you got headphones in or you have hacked it to have a speaker. Back to it. PICO-8 is right there. Welcome to the PICO-8 Fantasy Console. If you like any of the games you see in this console, you can visit Vuxwaffle's website and pick up the PICO-8 Virtual Console, or Fantasy Console as they like to call it, for about $15. There's a lot of games in here, so you get a lot of content for your money. Many of them are good, some of them are not. It's a little bit of everything. I'll show you a little bit today, but not a whole lot. That'll run on Windows, Mac, Linux, and of course this thing. Of course, it comes free with this, so that's kind of nice of them. If you happen to have their other game, Voxatron, their other virtual console, you can get this as a $5 surcharge. So they'll add it to your existing Voxatron if you would like. All right, so yeah, you get dropped here right after the initial intro. You can add and subtract favorites from here. The reason for favorites is because there's a whole lot of games available for this, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to scroll through all of them. Has a very, very, very active community. Here's your downloaded games. And I'm going purposely fast because I know this video is running pretty long. There's a search function for the same reason. It's very large. All right, so there's different sections. There's collaborations, work in progress, featured, and new. Notice that update, because the first time that you run the virtual console, the PICO-8, it may not have any games. And if it has no games, you can hit this update. Actually, you should hit it anyway, and it will add a whole bunch of games to your list. And there's a lot of different stuff. I mean, a little bit of everything here. It's just kind of crazy how much there is. Now let's go through featured real quick. And we'll play Tap Shooter real quick. And this is just a basic 8-bit shooter. I would say the graphics in this are end of 8-bit era, beginning of 16-bit era. Think turbo graphics from the graphics point. Most of the games are well, not all of them are super basic, but they tend to be on the basic and simple side. I'm doing terrible because it's hard to see through this. I'm playing on a monitor off the camera, and there's got to be like a half a second delay on input, so I'm going to play horribly. Sorry about that. But you can get an idea of how the game plays. Get him! Alright, so let's hit escape. And we will exit now. And we'll just take a look at something else real quick. And you can just kind of get an idea of, look at all this stuff, man. Pico Man, here's a little Pac-Man game. The Pico Drive, of course, does have sound. Pico Drive. Ha! That's a Genesis. The Pico-8. Why'd they do that? The Pico-8, of course, does have sound. I don't have a speaker hooked up. But it's your basic 8-bit sound. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Earth was a bad choice. Why not? Oh my. That is a lot of freaking text, people. I think I have no idea what I'm doing here. I think it's an endless runner, but I keep hitting people and it doesn't seem to want to jump. Weird. It might be because I'm using an external keyboard while I'm recording here. That's a little bit odd. A little bit odd. Alright, let's back up a little bit. Exit to Explorer again. And as you can see, I mean, there's just an amazing amount of games. If you're interested, let me know, and I can definitely run through more of them in a future video. But I'm basically kind of talking about the hardware of the device, and I got a little bit segued into this because it's kind of neat. Anyway, as far as I feel about the Pocket Chip, I think it's fairly well constructed. For $60, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat what you get there. As far as gaming goes, I don't know if it will ever be one of my primary gaming devices, just because I have so many other gaming devices around. But I will tell you what I will use it for, projects. It's a great little Linux box. I mean, it has a whole lot of features that I don't get in like a Raspberry Pi. So I really like it for that reason. So as far as construction, I like the construction. I like the features. I think you're getting a lot of value. You know, like a 1 gigahertz processor for, you know, next to nothing, especially if you're buying the $9 model. And the battery life's okay, like 5-6 hours. By the way, if you're wondering how it charges, it does charge through that little tiny micro USB port. That's what, just like a cell phone or anything else does these days. Yeah, I like it. Pretty decent little device. 9 out of 10 would buy again. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor, thumbs up, and subscribe for more. Again, any questions, just shoot them in the comments below or write me, Rob, at guysgamesandbeer.net.
Retro Rob's gaming videos.